All the Time is directed by Antonio Campos and stars Tom Holland, Jason Clarke, Bill Skarsgård, Haley Bennett, Sebastian Stan, and a ton of other people, and tells the story of a young boy who lived with a religious family, an extremely religious family, and had a terrible childhood because his family life was actually pretty terrible. And so after his childhood, he started living with his grandparents and a stepsister, and over the years he grew up and noticed that there is a lot of shady people in the town he lives in, doing possible murders on each other. And while he wasn't fully aware of everything, throughout the film we get the inside look into what the corruption is in this little town, with a preacher, a husband and a wife, and he is in the middle of possibly one of the most dangerous situations of his life. So I went into this film just hoping it will be good. And I was hoping because these trailers looked intriguing, incredibly intriguing. I have seen plenty of movies with Tom Holland before. If you have seen The Impossible and he was a child actor, he was very fantastic. And over the years, as I've seen him in more films, including in the Spider-Man ones, I appreciated him more as an actor, and I feel like here he was given possibly the best script suited for him, because this is my favorite performance from him that I've ever seen. Tom Holland brought so much intensity to the role, but he also brought a sense of likability, surprisingly, and a sense of sadness within his character, because you understand his childhood very well because you are shown that from the beginning. And when he grows up as an adult and he starts witnessing a lot of tragic and also horrific things in his life, you understand that the character was not intending any of these things to happen, despite some of the bitterness he had from his father. And so I really loved that aspect of the film and Tom Holland's character overall, and he really pulled it all together. And the supporting cast did a great job. Sebastian Stan's character as a cop who's trying to keep things low for a promotion, he starts going a bit mad once he starts uncovering stuff about his sister, in which she and her husband are doing some pretty terrible crimes against young men. And so there's also a subplot with a preacher, a local preacher, in which Tom Holland's character goes to church and he is shady. Robert Pattinson brings a lot of disgusting, vile creepiness to the preacher's character, and I felt uneasy whenever he's around, especially around the young girls he tries to get in his car with. It was a pretty terrible movie in that way, but considering how the whole town is basically corrupted in a way with terrible people around, and Tom Holland's character just finds himself in the middle of all this chaos, he was able to just completely bring all the plot points together naturally, and just in a way sort of do right in the film. And I felt like the direction here towards these certain events happening was excellent. Antonio did a great job directing this movie. and the action or lack of it, mostly the characters' actions and decisions that they make in the film is what I'm talking about, makes them feel more like people in these situations instead of just cartoon caricatures of what their character is. And I loved it for that. The cinematography is also extremely grim and grounded. The music, while I'll say is a bit repetitive, made the entire tone of the film incredibly dreadful in a good way. And just overall, I just found myself really invested in this story. The only thing I would say is that the opening should have trimmed a little bit, like maybe 5 or 10 minutes, so to speak, because sometimes there are certain parts in the beginning where I felt like it dragged. But once you get to the end of the film, you get to understand more about what that opening was setting up. But overall, I just felt like that opening was a bit uneven. And as I said, the music can be a bit repetitive at points. Overall, I had a good time with The Devil All the Time, and I'm going to give it an A-. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you guys next time.